Welcome back to Compelling Conversations, the go-to space for visionary CEOs and leaders who want insights that drive action and transformation. I'm Steve Ramerini, the founder of COMPEL CEOs and your host. And today I'm joined by serial successful entrepreneur Larry Siedlick. And together we're going to dive into strategies, stories, and conversations that help lead with purpose and shape the future. And by way of background, Larry is a 40 plus year entrepreneur. So he's very seasoned, and having founded several companies in various industries during that time. His ventures have included a medical testing laboratory, a healthcare revenue management company, and two hospitality companies, all of which outperformed competitors in their respective industries. Larry's is also an accomplished speaker and has delivered keynote addresses at conferences, business organizations, and corporations around the world. He's offering insights as well as his extensive leadership experience and the role of corporate culture in driving growth and value improvement. When he co-founded Sunrise Medical Labs, it started out as a two-person firm and grew to 450 professionals with 1.5 million client engagements or patient engagements per year. When he sold the company, it sold for a record multiple in the lab industry, and 18 years later, it still is a record in the lab industry. He then went on to found the revenue management company, which also was sold, and then founded two hospitality companies. One, as the logo says behind us, the Montauk Beach House Hotel, which is a boutique resort and a trendy destination. What started out as a sleepy little hotel was remade under Larry's guidance and foresight. He's also the co-founder of Left Hand Coffee, which, while being a specialty coffee company based in Montauk, is a sales leader in the coffee space on a revenue per square foot basis. So Larry, thank you and welcome.
My pleasure, Steve.
It's good to have you here. So let's kind of get right into it. And I guess this question is, how did you get here? Meaning, describe your journey as an entrepreneur over the last 40 years.
Well, I've been working since I'm 15 years old, and worked my way through college, and then discovered while working my way through college that I wasn't that keen on actually working for someone else. And so I started my first business, which was the medical laboratory business, when I was 20 years old, and grew into it, and it just grew from two of us starting it to, like you said, over the years, 450 people.
And I know from our past conversations that you were sort of a pioneer in many things, especially employee benefits and the way you treated people, and the way you grew the company, the way you treated the patients. What were some of those things that led to the growth and obviously the value improvement of your company?
Well, one of the things that we recognized early on, well, I actually say we didn't recognize it. We were very focused in the beginning of the business on process, on how to use automation, which was evolving at the time. And so we incorporated it early, and we were very much involved in refining the process. And then we sort of, the growth and the revenue and the profits began to get flat. They plateaued. And I think we realized that we had equal technology to use, but we weren't getting that extra bit. And so we began to consider the human factor. I'm very big on how culture drives profitability and performance of staff. And so we began to focus more on the staff needs. And what we discovered is that using the same technologies as competitors, if we interacted with our staff in a more trusting way, that the productivity of those individuals went up and above. And I've always believed that the, processes can make a company good, but it's the culture that converts the company to a great company.
And you did the same thing with the revenue management company, because when that started, there was really only 2 or 3 of you. And over a short period of time, it grew to 40 to 50 individuals before you sold it. And I've seen firsthand how that philosophy has impacted the complete turnaround of the property out in Montauk. And you take a very mentoring, nurturing approach with your key people, which is to your credit. And it's a testament to how the companies have grown. When you're working with your customers and clients, what's been the biggest hurdle you've had to overcome?
I think with any, and almost virtually in almost any business, the challenge and the hurdle that we need to overcome is that many people come to buy our product or service thinking they know exactly what they want. But many customers, whether you're selling direct face to face or you're selling, digitally, many customers don't reveal what I call their frustrations, their desires, and their needs. And to get to the bottom of that, that's the biggest challenge, is to get that customer to believe in your company and your product or service, to where they actually will reveal what their frustrations are. What are they trying to fix in their business or in their life, if they're doing it, and then that gets you to being able to customize that interaction for that customer.
So, would you say that's 1 or 2 of your secret weapons to success?
Interesting. I would say that one of the secrets, I think, to my success has been that I'm an active listener. I listen to everybody around me. I listen to customers. I listen to staff, and I'm not. There's an expression of that's that to steal from one ideas from one person is plagiarism, and to steal from many is called research. All right, and I'm a good researcher, and I've learned. I think my one basic skill is identifying talented people and providing them with an environment where they can shine and rise to their level.
Well, we certainly need help in our organizations, and talented people is a great starting point. And I remember you telling me a story one time of how when you go to an event, you always try to seek out the business owner to talk with,
Oh,
so you can
absolutely.
get their ideas and what made them successful and learn from them.
It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter the size of your company. For me, what I've always learned is that when I go to an event, if I find the business owner, and I don't care if it's the business owner that runs General Motors, Apple, or the corner deli, all right, I think there's a commonality of interesting things. And sometimes those smaller enterprises are where the really good creative ideas come from. There's a theory that, as you grow your business, you get a little complacent, and you get in the cruder version of that is you get fat, dumb, and happy because you're doing so well. And the folks that are struggling, sometimes they have the most creative ideas on solving common problems.
And obviously, you've done that many times successfully, 2 people to 450 in the medical lab. And it was not only one of the largest privately held medical labs, but it was outperforming on the basis of revenue per employee, the 2 largest medical labs in the country. And with the beach house, it's 33 rooms, and you get consistently 400 to 500 people there on a Saturday or a Sunday on the weekends. It's incredible. And then with the coffee company, it posting results that highest revenue on a per square foot basis. So it clearly is a tremendous secret weapon, and that has worked for you, and I'm sure it could work for others. Um, you've seen a lot in your career, but if we could get like just very specific, how has business changed over the last 5 years since COVID?
I think it's changed dramatically because it's there's a cultural shift that none of us seem to quite be able to define, but it's a definite change. People want, and I'll take the hotel business as an example. People who are coming to a vacation destination no longer want just a room. They want a full experience. They want something that's more than the room. And in our case, what we've done is we've combined things on property, like the music events, like the food events, like the fashion events on property to give that full experience because that's what people seem to want to buy. And I think in virtually every business person that I talk to, you see that we're all struggling to learn how the dynamic has changed. And as customers in age out, so to speak, you need to adapt to the new generation of customers. So as I move from millennial customers to Gen Z customers, all right, they have different needs, and it's very important for businesses to understand those needs of their customers.
That's a great point, and I'm just wondering if I should send that directly to Mr. Marriott and Mr. Hilton to help them. But in any event, well, that is a challenge. But there are going to be other challenges in the future. And what do you see as the biggest challenge to businesses and business owners in today's world?
I think the biggest challenge is going to be, and I'm sure you've heard it before, is the integration of artificial intelligence into people's processes. Artificial intelligence has the potential to be the great equalizer. Imagine a small or medium-sized company being able to produce high quality videos, high quality ads without having to outsource it. It's just an amazing process. And but the reality of it is that I think the companies who win in that model are the people who understand that artificial intelligence needs to be tied to a human relationship with the customers. I don't think that will be going away.
So, in 5, 10, 15 years, what do you think the landscape is going to look like?
Well, I think it's going to be more. It's right now, as I see it, it looks like it's going to be more level. I think there are more tools available now, and I encourage all the business people that I interact with to look at AI as a way to test their business ideas and to get better research. I think it's going to be a future where we need to know the customers better than we've ever known the customers before.
That's a very valid point. And interesting, I was at a conference over 20 years ago where the speaker, who was a well renowned investment banker and business owner, said the same thing about the internet. And obviously now we can't live without the internet. We have to have it on our phones all the time. We're connected.
Well, the technology today is, and I know just enough about technology to be dangerous, as I say. The technology, there used to be a rule it was called Moore's Law. Moore's Law said that the speed of computer chips doubles every 18 months. I think that no longer applies now with the chips that are out there now and the technology that's out there now. It's almost like it doubles every 18 days.
It seems that way for sure. I think the last estimate I had heard was it's below 9 months that AI doubles in capacity, which seems outdated, honestly.
I know we were an early adopter of AI back when it first became available, and it's hundreds of thousands of times smarter now than it was when we first started using it.
Mhm. So let's turn the tide a little bit. If you could do one thing differently from everything that you've done? If you could start all over again, what would you do?
Well, I'm very big, as you know, I'm very big on people defining their purpose, on why they do what it is they do. And I think I think if I could wind my career back to the beginning, I would have recognized that earlier on, the importance of culture and the way you deal with people and the way you motivate people. It's not, if you look at the really brands that are trusted, that people buy, regularly, don't even think about it, those are what they call trusted brands. And you've got to spend a lot more time, in my opinion, on building that trust. Now, you can build that trust if you sell direct face to face, that you're building that trust personally. The challenge, I think, is going to be is that if you don't sell face to face in your product or service, that you're going to have to learn to do that through digital engagement.
Good point. Good point. Throughout your career, was there any one book that was more influential to you than, or something you read or experienced that was more influential than almost anything else you experienced?
I would say there, if I had to narrow it down to two books, I would say professionally, all right, or personally. Let me say personally first. Personally, I think Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, which is a tremendous Holocaust survivor book, is probably taught me about the resiliency of the human being, our ability to face down horrible situations, downturns in our businesses, in our personal lives, and somehow recover from that. And professionally, it would have to be Good to Great, which taught me about how in business, all right, the thing that defines a company that just operates okay, all right, and goes to the next level is the company that recognizes the culture and the purpose of why they're there. There's a famous business saying, I think it's Simon Sinek, who said, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it.
That's true, and he attributed that philosophy to Steve Jobs and why Apple was so successful.
I think that's right.
Yeah. So, where are you now in your entrepreneurial career?
Well,
Are you just starting?
I'm always just starting something. I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to wind up like always looking at something. I'm always constantly looking at new ideas and stuff. I'm a chronic learner, as you know. I've been in a peer-to-peer COMPEL group for 20 something years. That's helped me grow through multiple companies, multiple transactions, multiple problems. And I think that I'm constantly looking to improve what I'm doing and to look for new opportunities.
And thank you for being with me for so long. I think you may be the longest tenured at this point.
Yeah.
But I think you're also one of the youngest thinkers
Yeah.
in all of our groups. And by the way, it's interesting. A mutual colleague of ours, when he retired, he had a retirement party, and he adopted the slogan that "I'm not retiring, I'm just beginning." So I think that he stole that from you. I'm pretty sure. But it was interesting. About a year ago, I had the opportunity to bring two groups together, and the youngest member was very skeptical. 35-year-old, extremely successful, has been buying businesses for 7, 8 years, and now has a company that's in the $30+ million range. And I remember after he met you, he came to me, he says, "I don't care what you do with the groups, but whatever group Larry is in, that's the group I want to be in."
Well, that's very nice to hear.
Yeah, that was a great compliment. Let's get a little bit more locally focused, because we're here on Long Island. Clearly, your business is Long Island focused, being at the east end of Long Island. What are the 2 or 3 top issues that Long Island businesses are facing and will face into the near future?
I think the big challenge on Long Island, a couple of big challenges, is One is obviously the cost of doing business on Long Island, the cost of utilities, the cost of housing is a major problem. And I think the challenge we're all going to be facing is a brain drain, so to speak. It's so unaffordable on Long Island that you're seeing, people like my children and even younger people's children saying, I can't afford to live here, and they're going down south or they're going out west.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big challenge. Affordable housing is going to be a big challenge here on Long Island. And the other thing is that just inflation and the rising cost of school taxes, of real estate taxes on businesses, and the regulatory environment. It's quite a challenge to navigate regulatory environment for most businesses here on the island.
And you were in a highly regulated industry
Yes.
for a long time, and you managed to maneuver that. It's interesting. I have one child who lives here on the island, obviously grew up on the island. Have another that moved into the city. That's even another level of expense. And then I have one that moved to Connecticut, and mainly because she found a house that would have cost her about 50% more here on Long Island. So it's real, and we do experience it. So we've covered a lot. And what I've heard and what I think our audience can benefit by is that, it's about culture and building trust, building a good culture, building trust, getting to know and having a relationship with your clients so that you can get them past their fears and frustrations and really help them with a solution that benefits them and also benefits you and your company. You also need to be a chronic learner, which I think far too many people, as you said, do get fat, dumb, and happy. And that's why we always bring in speakers on different topics to just continue that learning process. And a very interesting comment, which I found, is that even though AI is going to change the landscape, it ultimately needs to have a human element, a human relationship to really compound and profit off of all that AI is capable of doing. Because otherwise, we're not going to be selling to one another. We're going to be selling to machines, is what I'm gathering.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think the companies that succeed going forward are going to be the companies that are capable of integrating the plus sides to AI and integrating it in an empathetic way to both their customers and their staff. All right. And that's the connection that people need. People don't want to buy. I don't think the concept of people buying things or product or service is going to go away. And people want to buy from someone that they trust and someone that they know. And you have to use AI to, one is to learn about what those frustrations and desires are of your customers. And two is to find solutions that address those needs. And you'll be successful if you do that.
Right. And we've also talked about identifying what are the issues that local businesses here on Long Island face. And I think to some extent it carries over into, adjacent regions like New York City, northern New Jersey, and that is the affordability of housing. And I know you took a very unique approach to this, keeping your key staff, you provide them housing out on the East End. I mean, you've invested a lot of money in that. So you've invested a lot of money in your staff, as you always have. And if we don't have that, there's going to be a continual brain drain, and where are we going to get these workers to work from? And obviously, this has always been a very high tax area. It's more expensive to work here and produce here. And another colleague of ours, he was able to prove that if his manufacturing facility was located someplace else, it would be much more profitable. And he is getting a nice multiple on the company because of that, not because of, where it is as it is. It's because of where it would be and as it could be. So two very key elements. So I want to thank you, Larry. This has been extremely informative. And it's been a pleasure for me to know you these last 25 years. And I hope we know each other in 25 more.
Oh,
so thank you very much.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Take care. And tune in next time for our next episode of Compelling Conversations. And we'll be interviewing a renowned speaker and business strategist. Thank you.